Morning. While the Democrats continue to push mail-in voting, Trump was talking about it in the press last night. The US Postal Services, someone has sent out another 500,500,000 mail-in ballots, but they've been sending them to people that don't exist, dead people, dogs, and a cat, apparently. So that's not really going anywhere, is it? Good. We learn more about Antifa all the time this is going on. And for those of you that don't know, if you think Antifa are peaceful, you are sadly mistaken. As if to say, if you think the BLM marches are peaceful, you are also sadly mistaken. They possibly show you that on the TV, but I could show you video after video after video after Twitter clip after Twitter clip of black people, men, women, boys, whatever, kicking the shit out of white people just because they're white and just because all this movement and marching is going on at the moment. Saw one bloke been beaten up in like a shopping centre, another old boy getting duffed up in a supermarket from behind. There's a video of an old lady, she must be fucking 90, pushing along her little walker. The black guy just walks past her, clips her in the head, she falls down, smacks her head on his fire hydrant or whatever. He looks back, just carries on walking. None of this stuff gets shown. As Trump said, if we had a truthful media, the USA would be much further on. And it's true, it's society, humanity. If we had a media that told the truth, so would we all. I ain't into that. So with this Antifa not being peaceful, I had an interview yesterday, one of the people that was there, a reporter, and she was saying from 9 to 5, a lot of it was peaceful protesters. Yes, but from 6 o'clock onwards, that's where all the tooled up geezers turned up. Now, they're all turning up in uniforms, all got the same sort of masks on and stuff. Apparently they've got credit cards that get topped up by Soros every month to get paid for what they're doing. They get flown in, and lots of people reported about this. All planes just full of young people going to certain cities where the riot started and stuff. They've all got fucking high-powered lasers that they're shining at the in the police's eyes. While you don't just get them off the street. You can't pick them up in normal shops. They're getting them all from somewhere. Anyway, this woman was saying they all turned up at 6 o'clock. That's when all the grief started. She was there in the square. I can't remember the name of it. When they said Trump fired a load of tear gas at the protesters and all that. That's a load of fucking bollocks. You just need to look into that. They've been, Q-Team and the NSA and Trump team, whatever, have been mapping Antifa for a long time. It was in one of the Q drops. So they've had people installed in there. They know everything that's been going on. They've quietened down quite a lot, haven't they, since Trump said you get 10 years in prison. However, I think this is why now a load of these deep state governors, states, are releasing loads of hardened prisoners. And they're releasing them under the guise of they might get coronavirus. Why don't you give them all a fucking mask in prison if they work? No. They're using that as an excuse to release all these prisoners, put them up in hotels and stuff, I think, and they're going to be using them, possibly, in the next wave of riots. It's like a proxy army, isn't it? Again, using savages like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Yeah, when they got the Celts in, was it? Celts? Yeah, maybe. To the trees! Anyway, that's something we need to watch. The District Attorney of Portland, Mike Schmidt, has has made a statement that he said they're going to let a lot of people off. These Antifa people that have been already put in prison, they're going to let them off, quell their sentences and stuff, and let them back out, or let them off. And but they won't let people open small businesses. This is what this is all about. The deep state are attacking the middleman, the middle classes, the small businesses, and everything. Open your eyes. It's easy to see when you do. So I've done the prisoners, right? While Biden is still alienating all the foreign allies and stuff like that with all the fucking bullshit that comes out of his mouth. And his stuff about his hairy legs and all that, and children touching them. Trump has now signed another agreement in the Middle East. And he's brokered a peace deal now between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates. I didn't say that right the first time, did I? I don't even know what I said. So there we go again. Trump, more peace deals. You know, he's denuclearised North Korea and that. And he's the only president in the last 30 years, I think, not to go to war with anyone. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it? So all you fucking deniers and doubters, I suggest you go and buy yourself a set of crayons, because they'd be better used by you. The Flynn case is still ongoing, obviously, but I heard yesterday that they might be waiting until October the 1st for this, because what they want to do, I know he's in court on September the 9th, but it would be lovely if they gave the deep state a little October surprise of their own. Because in October 2016, just before Trump got into power, they released the 2005 Trump thing, where he was banging on about birds and women and that, sorry, not birds, banging on about women and grabbing them by the pussy and all that fucking shit. Whether I don't condone what he said in any way, shape or form. I'm sure everyone on the planet has said a few things they fucking regret over the time. And, you know, it can all be used against you in the future if you're trying to do good. But they released that, so whether they might, the White Hats are waiting for October to give them a little. Flynn's released. Flynn's been let off. Now, he knows fucking everything, doesn't he? Boom. I don't know, we'll see. TikTok, Snapchat, although these things should be fucking banned, really, because there's so much shit that goes on there. From what I hear, and people keep telling me, the kids are all waking up by using them. So, you know, a lot of kids are saying to their parents, oh, I know about that, I know about that, I know about that. We're all talking about it. So that's a magical thing, isn't it? Right. I thought I'd have a quick look at the terrestrial TV this morning, and I turned it on. Jeremy Vine, just as Ian Lee was starting to speak. Now, I used to like him as a comedian and that, but now he is a fucking moron, an MSN stooge, a fearmonger, and a really, really, really soggy, wet, damp wet blanket. What a fucking tosser. I listened to him for 10 seconds before I just flicked it back to 374. Nat Geo Wild, beautiful animals. Turn that fucking telly. If you fucking turn the telly off for a week and just dug around the internet for information, you'd be a lot fucking wiser, I tell you, and a lot less of a classy tar. Right, little question here for the Q doubters, and I've thought about this many times myself. If Obama had done his job the first 8 years of the 16-year plan to destroy America, and they wanted to bring Hillary in next, why didn't they fucking just walk Hillary in? Why did they purposefully lose the election, bring in Trump, who a lot of you say is Hitler, and working with them to continue the deep state plan. Why, if they did that, would they, number one, attack Trump for the first 3 years with all this Russia investigation, Stormy Daniels, impeachment inquiries? Why would they do all that, number one? Why would they invent Q, number two, to pass the mainstream media and the social media? Why would they do that to bypass all that? If they already owned all the media anyway? And why, if Trump is literally Hitler, why has he spent the last 4 years talking about draining the swamp, taking down all the human traffickers, and rebuilding the American economy? Even when it went back down to fucking almost zero through the false COVID pandemic. It's not a pandemic, it's an IQ test. Why would he do all that? You have to ask yourself these things. No. That doesn't make sense, does it now? No. Fucking doesn't, does it? Right. I've heard a lot of people saying, these are mainly for the people that, the silent majority, that don't do anything, that say, well, what can I do about it? Right? It doesn't concern me. I'm alright, thank you, in my bubble. No, of course, fucking children being skinned alive and tortured doesn't concern you, does it? It doesn't fucking concern me. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't affect my everyday life. But as someone with a soul, it makes me want to do something about it. If you're a soulless cunt, you can probably get on with your fucking day-to-day life, can't you? You know, as I said before, I know people are battling with all sorts of problems, but we are one humanity. We need to look out for each other. Not the shit cunts at the fucking top end, we don't. You know, people that say, oh, I won't see anything like that happen in my lifetime. Well, it won't happen in my lifetime. Cool, I've heard that. If I had £1 for every time I've heard that, I'd probably have about £33. Or £17. Something like that. So, can personal transformation lead to planetary transformation? Of course it can. We all need to better ourselves, don't we? Whether you do that by... Well, I can't do it by not swearing as much, but I do it in lots of other ways. You know, I meditate. I only share love with people, really. If you're a cunt, don't worry. You're a cunt, I'm going to tell you. But I promote love. I look after animals, people. I don't care what people think of me, if I can in any way help others that suffer. So, you know, if you think doing nothing helps, it doesn't. You know, because the people that do nothing and don't defend anyone, they're the people that are going to get a fucking knock on the door in the end when they come for your fucking children to vaccinate them. And there won't be anyone like me left to fucking defend people like you. I think that's what happened, wasn't it? You know, there's a lot of people watching these people get into the box carts to take these poor fuckers off to Auschwitz, and they did nothing. You know, it's fucking sad. You know, so if it does come down to a two-world split, which side do you want to be on? You know, do you want to be on the 5% of us that are trying to do something about it? You certainly ain't on the fucking less than 1%, because that's a big club and you ain't in it. So are you going to be on the 95%? Because they want to kill off, you know, the deep state plan for one world government and the fucking Georgia Guidestones and maintain humanity under 500 million. Well, if you want to be in one of those 500 million that's left, which means you've got to be microchipped, they monitor everything you do, fucking good luck to you. I'd rather die than being in that, right? I would rather fucking die knowing that I'm doing everything I can so that I haven't got any children, but I can look all of your children in the eye when they say, what were you doing in the 2020 Great Awakening, right? I'll fucking tell them. Will you? right? Because, you know, there's lots of talk and lots of things, isn't there? If you're a holy person, there's talk about the rapture, whereas all of a sudden, all the Christians on the planet, I don't know if that's the same in different religions, you know, but all the Christians all of a sudden disappear and are taken into God's realm, right? And all the other fuckers are left there to stay, right, to deal with all the shit, right? Let's talk about, you know, spaceships turning up. Now, I believe there's a lot of benevolent fucking beings watching this planet, flat Earth, in the whole of the universe. They're fucking willing us on to wake up and fucking do it. 5D awaits, planetary transformation, beauty. But if all the spaceships come down and say we're going to take you all off to a better fucking world, I don't even want to do that either. I'd rather them take all you fucking lot, so that heaven is a place on earth. You look at the beauty around us every day if you get out into nature. And they left all the awakened ones up, all us lot, that say that's only fucking 500 million. If we could stay here and spend the next fucking year cleaning the shit out of the oceans, cleaning up all the fucking shit you McDonald's and fucking Kentucky eaters leave on the beach and in lay-bys up in the fucking countryside, right, and fucking cleaning this earth, us lot would be left in heaven, and it would be beautiful, and we'd all be in love, and animals would be alright, and we'd all be looking after them. It would be a wonderful place. It is a fucking wonderful place. Just fucking go out on a bike ride, go for a walk into the country where you don't normally go, and just sit down quietly and have a listen to the bird song and things like that. You know, just look down at the ground, right, and you'll see the ground start moving. If you sit there quietly, you'll start seeing insects appear and that. There's life everywhere. It's beautiful. Sorry, spiders, not you. Right, I love all spiders. I can't fucking pick them up. I have to use a glass. Just remember that. What side do you want to be on of any of this? What side? Love and light, where we go, when we go all.